What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel. If you'd like to stay up to date with boxing news, please hit that subscribe button. And if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. So there's a lot of controversy as to, is Teofimo Lopez undisputed? Is Devin Haney the real WBC champ? And I'm here to explain why I think Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. So first off, I'll start off by saying that the WBC itself, the sanctioning body that has caused this controversy, claims that Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. So when you ask Mauricio Suleiman, is Teofimo Lopez undisputed? He says yes. But then when you ask him, is Devin Haney a champion? He says yes. Now, we all know both can't be true. If you're undisputed, you cannot have another champion in your division. So what does that mean? When you ask him, okay, which title is held at a higher status? Is the franchise status a higher status, or is the WBC belt that Devin Haney has higher? He says the WBC franchise. Now, I don't like the WBC franchise. Because I'm not a fan of it. I'm not. But we can't argue with the guy who makes the rules. If he says that the WBC franchise is higher than the WBC regular, because that's how I look at the belt. I look at it as a WBA regular. Because the WBC franchise is nothing but the WBA Super. It's the same thing. There's an interview that Mauricio Suleiman gave with Fight Hype where he was asked a lot of tough questions. And he was forced to answer. And one of the questions that he was asked was, is this kind of like the WBA Super and the WBA regular? He said, oh, I don't like to look at it that way, but you could look at it that way. Well, I don't care what Mauricio Suleiman likes or doesn't like. That's the way I'm looking at it. The belt that Devin Haney has, I look at it as a WBA regular. That's the same thing to me. And if you're a WBA regular, you're not a champion to me. You got to win the Super. Now, okay, well, the WBC franchise don't have mandatories. To my knowledge, and I could be wrong on this, the WBA Super doesn't have mandatories as well. So which one is it? Is it the WBA Super the champion or is it the WBA regular? I know you watching this video right now is going to say the WBA Super. So, all right, I don't like the WBA. I made a video complaining about the WBA. I'm going to put that in the description. Same way I put the Fight Hype interview with Mauricio Suleiman in the description. I made a video talking shit about the WBA. I don't like the WBC franchise. But at the same time, if this is the rules that the sanctioning body is giving us, then that's what we got it to go by. All right, another thing. We have to look how the other boxers, the other contemporaries in the division are looking at Devin Haney. Nobody's rushing to fight him. Now, of course, we could say that he's being ducked. And I made a video complaining as to why can't he get a fight? Why, And I'm a Haney fan. I like Haney. I'm not disrespecting Haney, but at the same time, if he was a real champion, more people will be inclined to get in the ring with him. He holds the WBC belt, the most prestigious belt in all of boxing. Why are fighters just willfully neglecting to fight him? When has this happened? The only time I can think of is against Gary Russell Jr. He's somebody who's not a very particularly popular fighter. Devin Haney is. And he's very highly skilled. So people go, listen, the risk is not worth the reward. But in Devin Haney's case, he's a popular fighter. And they have him putting out legit offers to fight people. But they can't fight nobody to fight him. Why? Because nobody wants to fight for a WBC regular. Okay, you can say nobody's calling out Teo, but Teo's been locked up with this whole Triller situation. That's why. Nobody's going to call out a fighter who's under contract for a fight, and it's talk about moving up in weight. Teofimo's undisputed, man. Also, let's look. Who did Haney beat? Let's look at who Haney beat in his last 3 fights. After Devin Haney was notified that he was the champion via email, I know people call him an email champ, but it's the truth. Okay, he defended it against Alfredo Santiago. Let's see who Alfredo Santiago is. Alfredo Santiago, not a puncher, 13 wins, 5 knockouts, has another loss on top of that he lost to Ricardo Nunez by knockout, which Devin Haney did not do. Then he fights an old Gamboa who's known for being chinny, who had a torn Achilles, I want to say, against Gervonta Tank Davis in his last fight. And he went a 12 boring rounds with Gamboa, who he didn't drop or knock out. And then in his next fight, he fights Jorge Linares. At the time, he was 35 years old, coming off a 1-year layoff, who's been knocked out 5 times. And then not only does Devin Haney not get the stoppage, Devin Haney gets hurt real bad later in the rounds. And instead of acting like a fighter when a fighter gets hurt, all he did was hold. All he did was fight dirty. He just tried to survive and not risk anything at all. That's not how a champion's supposed to conduct himself when he gets hurt. Not in my opinion. So the guy's not acting like a champion, not beating the guys soundly or knocking guys out how he's supposed to, as a champion would. And now let's look at who Teofimo beat in his last 3 fights. Look, Teofimo beat Nakatani, who, say whatever you want about Nakatani, he struggled against Nakatani. He didn't struggle. What happened was he was knocking everybody out and having these crazy, amazing performances. And then against Nakatani, he has a decent performance, and people going, wait a minute, wow, it wasn't an absolutely amazing performance. And that's the only reason why people say, oh, he struggled against Nakatani. Nakatani was undefeated and went on to knock out Felix Verdejo, which I'm happy about because if you guys know his story, he did a lot of, bad things outside the ring. Anyway, then he goes, knocks out Richard Comey in 2 rounds. In 2 rounds, he knocks out Richard Comey. Richard Comey was the champion, and he knocked him out in 2 rounds to win the IBF belt. Then his next fight, look, against Lomachenko. Say whatever you want. Oh, it was more about what Lomachenko didn't do than it was that Teofimo did do. He got the win. And what sealed the deal to me about that win was that 12th round. It was a very close fight. The judges didn't have it like that. But it was a very close fight from a fan's perspective. And a lot of fans was like, whoever wins this 12th round wins the fight. And Teofimo Lopez came out with a clutch performance in that 12th round to win it without any doubt that he was the winner of that 12th round. So that's why he's undisputed. Has the better resume with less fights. 10 less fights. Teofimo Lopez has 16 fights. Devin Haney has 26. Check the resume. Check what resume you think is more impressive. We can't take this away from this kid. This kid took on Vasyl Lomachenko. People who they had him in the top 5 pound for pound. Max Kellerman had him in number 1 pound for pound. I personally didn't, but Max Kellerman did it. And he went in there and got a clear decision win against him. We cannot discount this man's accomplishments. We cannot discount the words of Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the sanctioning body in question. If there's a problem of knowing who's the champion, is he undisputed, the only person we can go to is the president of that sanctioning body. And what the president of that sanctioning body says is Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. The franchise title has more weight than the belt that the WBC regular that I call that Devin Haney has. Again, I like Devin Haney. I'm not trying to shit on Devin Haney, and I don't want people on here thinking I'm not a fan of Devin Haney. Devin Haney's a good fighter, but he didn't earn the belt the way a fighter's supposed to earn the belt. He didn't even fight for a vacant title. They just gave it to him. I understand why it happened, but listen, Teo don't make the rules. He don't make the rules. Those are the rules. And I hope this fight happens next so we clear this up. And when Teo wins, then we could get clarity as to who was undisputed before he moves up to 140. Because he keeps talking about moving up to 140.
And to be quite honest, if you saw my video yesterday, I want him to fight Devin Haney next. I want him to fight Devin Haney next to be clearly undisputed before he goes up. Even though to me, he's undisputed. And I understand there's people on the other side that say no. And those people are making reasonable arguments. But so am I. Don't dismiss my arguments either. I'm saying what you're saying is reasonable, but what I'm saying is reasonable too. I have my opinion, and here it is. Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. And I just laid out my argument. But all right, guys, comment in the comment section as to who you think is undisputed. I mean, if Teofimo is undisputed. If Devin Haney is a real WBC champion. Do you see it like me? Is he a WBC regular as well? Let me know. All right, guys, that's my video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the comment section like I just mentioned. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button and follow me on Twitter @_BroadwayJoel. But all right, guys, until next time. Peace.